If you can't control your emotions, people will control you. There is a silent pattern happening in modern life that most people never recognize until it's too late. Emotional exhaustion disguised as normal living. You wake up tired even after sleeping. You lose patience over small things. You feel disconnected in conversations, even with people you care about. And the most dangerous part is that you start believing this is just how life is now. But it's not. In this video, you're going to understand what emotional exhaustion actually does to your thinking, your relationships, and the way you respond to the world without even realizing it. We will break down the psychological signs most people ignore, why high-functioning individuals often miss it completely, and how your daily habits might be silently draining your emotional stability. Stay until the end, because what you will discover here is not about motivation or temporary relief. It's about recognizing a hidden pattern in your behavior that could be shaping your entire life, your relationships, and the way you see yourself without you ever noticing it happening. Stay with this because most people don't realize they're already living inside emotional exhaustion. They just learned how to call it a normal day. It usually doesn't start with something dramatic. It starts in small, almost invisible moments. You wake up and your body is technically rested, but your mind feels like it never stopped running. You grab your phone before even thinking, and suddenly you're already behind. Messages, notifications, problems that aren't even yours yet, but somehow already feel heavy. And you don't even question it because everyone around you is doing the same thing. That's the strange part. Emotional exhaustion doesn't scream. It blends in. You sit down to start your day, maybe work, maybe study, maybe just handle basic responsibilities, and everything feels slightly heavier than it should. Not impossible, just heavier. Like every task is asking for more energy than you're willing to give. And here's where it gets tricky. You still function. You still reply. You still show up. From the outside, nothing looks broken. But internally, it's like your mind is running two systems at once. One that handles what people see, and another that's quietly draining you in the background. And the more you push through it without stopping to notice it, the more normal it starts to feel. That's where people get trapped. Because you don't identify it as exhaustion anymore, you start calling it personality. You say things like, "I'm just not as motivated as I used to be," or, "I guess this is just how adulthood feels." But deep down, something doesn't match. You're present, but not fully there. You're active, but not really engaged. It's like watching your own life through a slightly fogged glass. And the weirdest part? The body adapts fast. Too fast. You start lowering your emotional range without noticing. Things that used to matter don't hit the same anymore. Good moments feel muted. Stressful moments feel normal. And when everything becomes normal, your brain stops signaling that something is off. But it is off. And the danger isn't that you crash suddenly. It's that you slowly get used to living in a state where you're always slightly drained, slightly distracted, slightly disconnected, and you stop remembering what fully present even feels like. And once that becomes your baseline, everything else in life starts to shift around it in ways most people never connect back to the original cause. The part nobody really talks about is how this being fine mask doesn't happen all at once. It's built slowly, almost politely, until you don't even question it anymore. First, it's harmless. You're tired, but you still respond to everyone. You're stressed, but you still show up. You're overwhelmed, but you keep things moving because that's what life demands, right? So you adapt. You start filtering yourself without noticing. Not what you say exactly, but what you feel comfortable showing. And over time, that filter gets stronger than you realize. You could be sitting in a conversation with people you care about, even laughing at the right moments, but inside there's this quiet distance. Like you're observing yourself instead of actually being in it. And the scary part? Nobody around you sees anything wrong. That's exactly why it continues. Because society rewards people who don't break character. So you learn the pattern. When someone asks how you are, you don't pause long enough to answer honestly. You just default to "I'm good." Not because it's true, but because it keeps things moving. It's faster, cleaner, easier, and honestly, less exhausting than trying to explain what's actually going on inside. But here's where it starts to add up. Every time you swallow a feeling instead of processing it, your mind doesn't delete it. It stores it. Not in some dramatic way, but like background noise you slowly get used to. A conversation you never finished. A frustration you brushed off. A disappointment you didn't have time to sit with. They all stay there, quietly stacking. And the wild thing is, your brain is constantly trying to keep up with all of it while still handling daily life. Work tasks, social expectations, decisions, messages, responsibilities. Everything keeps coming in, but nothing really leaves. So what happens next is subtle. You start reacting differently without understanding why. Small things feel sharper than they should. Patience runs out faster. Even simple choices feel heavier, like your mind is asking for permission just to move. And instead of linking it back to emotional overload, you start thinking something is wrong with your personality. But it's not personality. It's accumulation. And the longer you operate like this, the more your mind shifts into survival mode. Not the dramatic kind, but the quiet one. The kind where you're still functioning, still performing, still present. But internally, you're always slightly behind yourself. And once that becomes your normal, even rest stops feeling like rest. Because your mind never fully powers down anymore. It just keeps running in the background, waiting for something to finally break the loop. What most people don't realize is that feeling stuck in your own mind doesn't come from one big problem. It comes from 1,000 small, unresolved moments that never got a place to land. You can be living a completely normal life on the outside, working, talking, scrolling, answering messages, but inside, it feels like you're slightly out of sync with everything. Like your mind is buffering while life keeps moving in real time. And the strange part is, there's usually no obvious reason you can point to. No single event that explains it. That's what makes it so confusing. You start thinking, maybe I'm just unmotivated. Or, maybe this is just how I am now. But it's not that simple. It's more like your mind is carrying too many open loops at once. A conversation you replayed but never really processed. A situation you shrugged off just to keep the peace. A feeling you noticed but didn't have time to understand, so you pushed it aside. Each one seems small on its own, but together they don't disappear, they stack. Quietly, invisibly, until your mental space feels crowded even when nothing is happening. And here's where it gets more interesting. Your brain doesn't label this as emotional overload. It just starts adjusting your behavior. You lose focus faster. You switch tasks more often. You reach for distractions without thinking. Your phone, background noise, anything that fills the silence before your thoughts catch up with you. Not because you're weak, but because silence suddenly feels heavier than stimulation. Even rest starts to feel weird. You finally sit down, and instead of relief, there's this restless feeling like you forgot something important. So you get back up, you check something, you scroll again, not out of habit, but out of discomfort with stillness. And slowly, without noticing, your mind starts treating busy as normal and calm as unfamiliar. That's the shift most people miss. Because when your internal world is full of unfinished emotional threads, your attention stops feeling stable. You're physically present, but mentally you're always slightly split. Part of you in the moment, part of you somewhere else trying to manage everything that was never fully processed. And the longer this goes on, the harder it becomes to tell the difference between this is just my personality and this is my mind trying to keep up with too much at once. And that's exactly where things start connecting in a way most people don't expect. So if you made it this far, here's the part most people overlook. Emotional exhaustion doesn't always look like falling apart. Sometimes it looks like being fine every single day while slowly losing connection with yourself in the process. And the scariest part is how normal it starts to feel. Like this low-energy, distracted version of you is just who you are now. But you're not supposed to live in a constant state of mental noise. You're not supposed to feel present only in fragments, or rest but never actually recover. Life was never meant to feel like you're always catching up to your own mind. And maybe the real shift starts here. Not trying to force everything to change at once, but simply noticing what your mind has been carrying in silence for too long. Because the moment you start recognizing it, you stop being on autopilot and start actually being in your own life again. If you understand this, you already see things differently than most people who will never pause long enough to question why they feel the way they do every day. If something in this video felt a little too accurate or even uncomfortable, don't just brush past it. That reaction usually isn't random. It's often your mind recognizing something you've been living with for so long that it started to feel normal. The way you react, the things you hold in, the patterns you repeat without thinking. They don't appear out of nowhere. They build a structure over time. And once you start noticing that structure, something shifts. You stop reacting on autopilot and start understanding what's actually driving your choices. That's the real value of self-awareness. Not overthinking everything, but simply seeing yourself more clearly in real situations. So after this video, take a quiet moment and ask yourself, what part of this felt familiar in a way you didn't expect? Not what sounded good, but what felt true. Because when you ignore those moments, nothing changes. But when you actually pay attention to them, even in small ways, your behavior starts to shift naturally over time. And this is just one layer. The more you recognize these patterns, the more control you quietly take back over your own mind. If this video made you stop for a second and actually reflect, don't just move on like nothing happened. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content that breaks down human behavior, emotional patterns, and the way your mind really works in everyday life. Leave a like if this hit something real for you, and drop a comment with the number 1 or 2, the one that best represents what stood out most in this video. If you stayed until the end, comment "I stayed," so I know you didn't skip the part most people ignore. And before you go, there's a video on the screen right now and a full playlist waiting for you that goes even deeper into psychology, emotional exhaustion, and hidden behavioral patterns. You don't want to miss what's next there. Watch it now because the next step connects everything you just heard in a way that makes even more sense.